Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers out by Yalla coming back at you with another cold cut through the spirit. I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Right, double honors to the men pushing this truth that's out there on the highways and byways, right, making videos, running their households, guiding, also lifting up and guiding their households in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom, and the mighty Aqua, the sisters that are married, unmarried. You have children bearing the troubles of education like our mighty foremother, Shalom, Shalom, and the mighty children building themselves up in their parents' households as well, Shalom. Passover draweth nigh. Passover draweth nigh, and we have to make sure that we don't have any grudges in our heart against our brothers or our sister, but that we love one another as the Lord hath loved us. Right? And go to the book of James, chapter 5 and verse number 9. You don't want to be grudging against your brother. You don't want to hold any odds or any contentions between your brother or your sister, and you don't say anything about it. And you know Passover is but 19 to 20 days away. Passover is right there. Passover is right there. And you have these things in your heart as you eat the body of the Lord. Right? This is James chapter 5 and verse number 9. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest you be condemned. And when you get condemned, that means when that gavel hits, guess what? You're found guilty. If you grudge in your heart, you're going to be found guilty for all the things you've done. Right? Behold, the judge standeth before the door. All right? The Most High, he will hold all your sins against you. You want to hold ought and things against your neighbor, then guess what? The Lord is going to hold those things against you. You don't want that to happen. You need to forgive your brother or your sister for the things that they have. And guess what? Speak up. Right? Don't hold it in. Don't harbor it in your mind, lest that becomes a snare unto you, and Satan uses that to his advantage. Right? This is Sirach chapter 21. Actually, Sirach chapter 20 and verse 1. There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly. Right? And he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. So guess what? Confess your fault towards your brother. Don't grudge against your brother or your sister. As you know, Passover is coming up. Right? But it's better to say something to be angry secretly, because what that's going to do is it's going to get a demon on you. And that demon is going to keep feeding that fire until eventually your flesh has you go off, man. You're not thinking about the precepts anymore. You're thinking about how to destroy that brother now. You're thinking about how to tarnish that brother's name or that sister's name. Now you're tail bearing. Now that demon opens up the door for more demons. You have to kill that spirit and sincerely come back to the love of your brother and your sister, how the Lord loved us. Let's go to the book of John. All right, let's go to the book of John, chapter 13. Right? This is John chapter 13, because look what this is brotherly love, what the Lord did, to Peter and the apostles. He washed them. This is John chapter 13, verse 13. You call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him. If you know these things, happy are ye if you do them. So the Lord provided us an example of what true brotherly love is. Ministering, serving our brothers and our sisters, helping them out, not being a taker, but being a giver, especially in times of need. Not holding oughts against them, but forgiving them of their trespasses. Although it may be hard in certain situations, but we have to forgive if we want the Lord to forgive us. We have to show brotherly and sisterly love if we want, Yahweh Shah to plead on our behalf. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Actually, let me get the law. Leviticus chapter 19. And let's start at verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Yeah, that would be ultimate hatred if you start seeing your brother wax worse and worse and you got some ought against him and you don't save him from that iniquity. You just let him fall to the wayside. The Lord's going to judge you for that and destroy you for that, because you will be a witness unto this man's destruction without saying anything. Right? And it says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. And the Lord said, I am the Lord. He commands that of us, to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. How could we eat the body of the Lord when we have aught against our brothers and our sisters? Let me go to the book of 1 John. How can we do that? We will be deemed hypocrites in the eyes of the Lord. This is 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. You a liar. You are a liar. You say you love the Most High, but you hate your brother, right? And your brother is creating the image of the Most High. For he that loveth not his brother whom he have seen, how can he love God whom he have not seen? You have never seen the Most High. You only know him through his words. It's for you to say you have unfeigned love for God and the Lord, and through Yahweh Shai will be ridiculous if you don't even love his creation that you do see. Right? The trespasses and all these things. Guess what? You have to forgive your neighbor. That doesn't mean you got to kick it with him or her like you used to, but internally, spiritually, you got to be pure and say, you know what? I sincerely forgive you. So the Most High forgives you of your sins. And go to Matthew chapter 6. This is very important. It's a lot of milk topics that we're touching into leading up to Passover. All right, Matthew 6 and 12. And everybody know the Lord's Prayers, but throw it up. If you don't know the Lord's Prayer, you can find it in Matthew 6. But brothers throw it up in the Hebrew, the Lashwan Kodash. Right? And what does it say in the Lord's Prayer? Matthew 6 and 12. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So within that prayer, you're asking the Lord to forgive you of your debts as what? As you forgive your debtors, as you forgive the people that owe you. The people that owe you things. We owe the Lord 10,000 talents. There's no way we can be able to pay that back, man. It's 10,000 talents spiritually. We can't pay that back. So we beg for mercy for the Lord that he doesn't destroy us for not being able to pay, being in debt to the Lord. But we got to have mercy to our brethren. We got to have mercy to our sisters. Because I don't know if you know, you're in debt to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So how can you get mad and hate your brother and your sister for trespasses against you? You feel like they owe you, but guess what? You owe the Lord. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse number 12. Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. So we are debtors in the Spirit. We owe 10,000 spiritual talents. And who are you to look down at your brother and your sister, especially when Passover is but a couple weeks away? We gotta clean that up. We gotta get back to the roots, the basics, right, of what makes us a nation as Israelites, is that we have communities, right? We have a brotherhood, sisterhood. The Lord purposely put feast days every month. Every Shabbat, you got to gather together with your brother and sister. You don't want to have that spirit like Judas, this harboring hatred in your heart, and then Satan enters into you, and now you delivering up your brother to death. So with that, I'd like to give all honor and glory and praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Continue to watch every single day. Shalom.